Hi, friends. Over the last few weeks, you've heard me talk a lot about my Patreon that I got up and running. You've heard me talk about why I haven't signed into social media for 2 years, but you haven't heard me talk a lot about what's actually going on in my music right now. And the most important thing going on in my music right now is my new album. And that's something that a lot of you have been hearing me talk about in one way or another for the past few years. Back, before I went on my 2 year hiatus from social media, I was posting stuff about it. And if you've seen me play live during the past 2 years, you see me talk about it when I've been performing live. That's the most important thing going on right now, and that's kind of its whole own story, and why this album has been this thing that's been going on for years at this point is its whole own story. But having the Patreon up and running is hugely important to that. I mean, so many of the blocks to a lot of the progress on recording the album have been and are financial. And I, one of the many reasons that recording this album has been this multi-year project is because I had to take a lot of time to get the Patreon up and running. And now that it's up and running, if you are able to become a Patreon supporter, you're going to be helping this album finally happen after all of these years. It's going to be very important for the recording and production and release of this album to have the support of my Patreon supporters. So if you can do that, please do that. It's going to help this album happen more than, well, at least more than I have the time or words to use to explain right now in this video. So the album is the big thing. And then kind of immediately before the album, kind of during this time where I'm gathering more Patreon supporters to help the album happen, and also just because I want to get this kind of squared away just for my own peace of mind, I'm also kind of redoing and updating ElliotRacine.com. A few years ago, I was talking with a friend of mine and about ElliotRacine.com, and she said, it doesn't, what's there now does it, or meaning what was there a few years ago when I talked with this person. She said that what she was seeing at the time on ElliotRacine.com, she didn't feel like really communicated who I was as a musician very effectively. And obviously that was something that I knew I needed to change. And so I've put a lot of work into ElliotRacine.com over the last few months, and I'm going to put a little more work in until I get to the place where I feel like it's good enough for the time being, and then I'll start to really focus on the new album. And one thing that I definitely feel like I need to say about the whole ElliotRacine.com thing is that I know that I'm probably going to sound like a broken record right now, but all of the best of Elliot Racine is always going to be in the music itself. ElliotRacine.com, no matter what I put into it, is never going to be a substitute for actually listening to my music. Going on ElliotRacine.com is never going to be a substitute for listening to my recordings or watching me play live. It's going to be supplemental. It's going to offer you a little insight into the music. It's going to offer you a little background information. It's not going to be the popcorn itself. It's going to be the butter on top of the popcorn. You go to the movies, you can get popcorn and enjoy it with or without butter, but with a little bit of butter, it makes it that much better. Same kind of deal. That's what ElliotRacine.com is for my music. But The music itself, the recordings, the performances, those are your popcorn at the movies. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what's actually going on in my music right now. So please, 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 if you're able, please become one of my Patreon supporters on patreon.com/Elliot Racine. You're gonna help me get this new album out, and in the meantime, I'm once again, while I'm kind of, getting all of that in order, I'm going to be putting stuff up on elliotracine.com, so keep checking out elliotracine.com. You're going to see a lot of things there that you're not ever going to see on social media. There's a lot of things that I'm putting on elliotracine.com that I will never put on social media, and I have plenty of good reasons for that, which I will explain, so you can look forward to that. But once again, please support on patreon.com/Elliot Racine. I'll start doing new album updates soon. Keep checking elliotracine.com for all the cool stuff going up on it. Thank you all so much. I'm out.